My mind was always like, I got to go help my brother. I got to be with my parents. It's busy. It's fun. Like, in those days, Chabanel was pumping. Like, it was a lot of action. The fashion industry, it was good. And coming from the West Island, growing up in the West Island, it was like, one day I'm going to open in the West Island. I used to like little punk talking, yeah, for sure I'm going to have the best restaurant in the West Island one day.
So, typically we always hear don't do business with family.
Yeah.
But in your case, in your family's case, it's worked out quite well.
Listen, when you're at your highs, it's nice to have it with your family, and when you're at your lows, it's comforting to have your family there too. I thought about it overnight. He actually told me yesterday. It's like, what I love about Gentile is that it's so cool, and it also feels like Nonna's house, all in one. And that, for me, it hit exactly what the brand has to represent. I'm sure he would be seriously proud. I'm sure, to say like, hey, we took a big chance in those days, we did it, and then his son pushed along, and then his grandchildren, and it's something I think he would be very, very proud.
All right, welcome back to another episode of The Closing Time, episode 8. Today we have one of the co-owners of Café Gentile.
Yes, sir.
A Montreal institution, Anthony Gentile. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So Anthony, before we get started in your story and all that, what's your beef with matcha?
Yeah, that was funny. It really stems to having a teenage daughter, and daddy, you got to put matcha, and you got to do it, and it's so cool, and my friends love it, and blah 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 blah. And then this one day, we just like, every trip we go to, she makes me go to every matcha place to get her a matcha, and I'm like, I can't believe this is where the society we're in, like 13-year-olds and 14-year-olds are dictating what's good and what's not good in a coffee shop. So that day it just came on naturally. It was like the social media content girl that works with her, she's like, Anthony, are we gonna ever have matcha? I'm like, no. And then people, I guess it's funny, it was real, it was organic, and it's the bottom line is, why not matcha? I mean, when you're creating something, when you're part of something that is organic and real, and you have the roots of Gentile and where we came from and where we aspire from, it's like it really doesn't go into who we are. So for me, it's like no matcha Gentile.
Do you find it's more of like a trend type of thing, or is it you just think it's not?
I think it doesn't align with our views. I think it's if it's great, and if your whole business is about third wave coffee or what's trending, okay, it's cool. But I mean, the way I am is, if I want to do a matcha, I want to do the best freaking matcha. So I would have to do the research on it and have something to stand behind.
For sure, definitely. And going back, like you said, your values and the core beliefs of Gentile. Let's dive in. How did Gentile start?
Yeah, amazing and true story. That's what for me makes it so important. Every day when I wake up, and also my partners and whoever works for the company, it's like humble beginnings, a long story and a good story, a true story. So, some people know the story. Some people just see 1959. Some people don't understand. But technically, we're my grandparents with my father immigrated here in 1954. My dad was 10 years old at the time, was a young boy, and they came here for a better life. They had a little bit of family that had come earlier, so they, set up, and they all lived together in that beautiful, environment of leaving a country for a better life. They came here, and then, trying to figure it out. And then 1957 or 58, they purchased that corner duplex that was at the corner of Chabanel and Park Avenue. And they lived upstairs, That's where I was born. So it was our house, and then my grandparents' house. And then the basement was vacant. And then, some Italians that had already been here prior, they had opened up little social clubs, Italian coffee shops, more in like St. Leonard of the East End. So they came to see my grandfather, and they said, hey, Mr. Gentile, if you have the place there, we're going to put like a billiardino, we're going to put a little coffee bar, we'll rent it from you. And my grandfather, I never met him, but I only hear the most amazing stories from my father. And, he said, well, before somebody's going to do it, just like we could do it, we'll figure it out. and they jumped into it. 1959, they got their first coffee machine. They opened up. They put some pool tables. It was a gathering, a social club, like not a social club, but an Italian coffee shop. Vintage, cool.
So that was how we were back in the days.
That's how it started. Yeah, there was nothing on Chabanel. Like Chabanel was an army base. It wasn't much happening here. So. And then they started, and then 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, and then the growth of the street and the growth of his visions with my son, with my father, which is, was his youngest son that stuck by his side, and they believed that they were going to attain something one day that was going to be special, and with all their hard work, and then my father and my mother getting involved in the company, then my brother, myself, my sister, it's been an evolution of so many steps to where we are today.
Beautiful. And was it always was it some form of rite of passage in your family that somebody has to take over, or is it just whoever steps up? How does that work?
Yeah, it's funny because I'm going through that. My brother is obviously going through that now with his boys, and then myself with. It just happens. I think as a parent, you want the best for your children. But you can't really, and the older, the more we evolve as a society, it's like we don't really say, no, you have to do this. Yeah. It's like we try to give everyone their space to figure it out. I know on my brother, which is 10 years older than me, and he still runs the Chabanel location day to day. I mean, he finished, his high school, did a little bit of college, but, he was there and he was in it. He was there and he loved it. He wanted to, give a relief to my father and my mother, and he was there and he saw himself doing it. So I guess he went that. And then there was me right after him, and I saw my brother and I saw my mother, and I genuinely liked it and I believed in it. I really believed that we had something special. And I always had this little inner thing in me to say, this could be amazing. And we could grow the company. And here we are today. It's like a lot of sacrifices, sure. A lot of hard work, a lot of days where you say, did I make the right decision? Yeah. But it tests you and it builds you into the character that you become.
Definitely. And so when you're growing up in the business, are you aspiring, okay, one day I'm going to take over? Or are you like, I don't want to do
So my story is graduated from high school in 1999. And so 17 years old, fresh out of high school, I said, okay, I want to, do a little bit of college. So I went to John Abbott. But my mind was always like, I got to go help my brother. I got to be with my parents. It's busy. It's fun. In those days, Chabanel was pumping. It was a lot of action. The fashion industry, it was good. It was really cool, and coming to work with the, obviously being 17, you like to see nice chicks. And it was full of nice chicks. And it was fun. It was a real good rush. I got a good rush and a good vibe from it. And then, working with my father and learning and with my brother and the hard work, it was like I always had something into me that said, I want to build this brand. I think we could get bigger. I think we could scale, And coming from the West Island, growing up in the West Island, it was like, one day I'm going to open in the West Island. I used to do little punk talking, for sure I'm going to have the best restaurant in the West Island one day. And then, you evolve. So how my journey really started to get to where the company is now is in 2012, I was working full-time here at Chabanel. And then there was an opportunity that came up with a restaurant that unfortunately didn't make it after a year in Old Montreal. So I have a good friend of mine that, said, hey, put me in communications with a common friend of his. And we went to see this space. And it's like, I think we could do something great here. So we ended up taking this spot. I did this alone without the family. Well, my brother came in as a partner as well, but had nothing to do with Gentile. And we opened up this amazing restaurant, little / supper club in 2014, yeah. It was called Scarlet Exclusive, 139 St. Paul West. And we picked it up in January and we were ready for Grand Prix. And it was amazing. It was an amazing journey. In every aspect of the word. It was fun. It was electric. It was a good investment. But what that did for me, for my personal growth, was it gave me the confidence that I needed to scale our company because I learned so much. I wasn't in the shadows of, my bro, my mom, my dad. I was on my own doing my thing, learning different sides of restoration. And we, Gentile was always a breakfast, lunch vibe, right? We never did dinners. So when I did Scarlet, whole other culinary side was taught to me, and I seen and inspired on that. And it gave me really a lot of confidence. And then from there, I found this location in Westmount. I think Westmount is a great community. It's downtown, but not downtown. And then we pulled the plug to expand in Westmount in 2016. So then we did that. That was amazing. It really, it was a great impact at the beginning. We were busy. It was fun. And it felt real. It felt like this is the direction where we should go as a company and as a team, And then the world ended.
Yeah.
Bam, 2020.
Yeah.
Pandemic. And right when the pandemic was happening, it was a time of growth again for the company. We said, we had a small little 2,000 square feet place in Westmount, and we were having a space issue. And to grow the company and scale it, we needed more space. So the landlord at the time said, hey, what if we open up the wall? Will you take the space? I said, yeah, I think it's a great idea. Let's do another brand. So that's where the pizza parlor came into place. I always had a passion for pizza. I think pizza went great with Gentile of what we already had. And we started, with the project of creating Gentile Pizza Parlor. Unfortunately, the world had other plans. So we basically opened the door October 4th, 2020. 2020. And then the government here in Quebec said we're going to have to shut down for a month. But that
So October 2019. You said 2020.
No, but the pandemic started March 2020. We were in the middle of construction.
Oh, okay.
So when we finally opened, like things were okay, but we're about to open, and then there was like a 1 month shutdown, but that ended up being an 8 month shutdown. So we actually opened October 4th, and then the only first customer that could come and sit down in that restaurant was in July.
Okay.
So 8 months just of takeout only in a brand new business. It was stressful. And then I keep on telling myself, partners, staff members, people that are with us, is like, guys, if we could have endured that, everything else will be fine. 100%. We'll get through anything. And that's what really gave us a lot of confidence too.
And so you mentioned...
then to DDO. And then DDO was like always on the platforms like West Island. And then, it's like, I really believe in the greater God, and things happen for a reason. I'm very superstitious, and I have a lot of beliefs, good beliefs. And for 10 years in Westmount, I had a connection with the Shriners Hospital back in the day. It was a good friend of mine that worked at the Shriners, and she had a great position there, and she would bring us in, and we would do coffees for all the staff and all the children, and it was like such a rewarding day, a good feeling to give back to that community, obviously. And then we would do it like twice a year, every year. And then it happens to be that the building where we are now in DDO in Dollard used to be a Shriners building.
Oh, no way. Wow.
So it was a Shriners building, and then there was a developer that purchased it. And then a friend of mine that's in commercial real estate reached out to me right away. And it's like, that's my spot. That's where I want to be.
Yeah, it's kind of meant to be.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so.
And it sounds like it was like many, many, many years in the making, because since you moved to DDO, you've always had some kind of vision that you wanted to eventually open.
Well, yeah, the family, we grew up, we lived here upstairs, the original location. And then in 1983, a year after I was born, we moved to the West Island, and we've been there ever since. So we would commute every day, but West Island was our home. That's where I went to school. My brother went to school. My sister went to school. We have a lot of connections. We have family that have businesses in the West Island. So it was a community that we always, that was like our destination. So when people say like, how's the West Island? Not only is I think it's amazing, and the community, it's real for us. There's a big attachment to it.
It's very personal.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I believe that has a lot to do with a growth of a company.
100%. Now, if we take it back, so as you said, Gentile started in 1959.
Yeah.
And for decades, you kept away. It was a single location.
Yeah.
And then rapidly in the 2000s, in the last 10 years is when you expanded to multiple locations. Was there a reason behind not expanding sooner?
I mean, I think you need to have someone or something inside of you to take these risks and move the boat, like, you know, and it's just like on the day to day, you know, my father was like, this is it. I'm here. We're working. We're in family, and it was good for him, and he was happy with it. So, you know, and my bro, same thing, working, and it's like, you know, you always need somebody to shake it up, and I guess that was like I had it. You know, I really believed in the brand. I believed that we could do well wherever we go because the brand is solid, the product backs it up, and we care for what we do. We have passion, and you clearly see it, and it's a, you know. Could have been done earlier, maybe. I mean, but you know, these are the way the stars were aligned.
Yeah. Could we say that it was, you know, your grandfather, your father, your brother, they were all content with what they had at the time, and they didn't want to expand, or was it just they didn't see the vision at the time?
I guess the vision maybe for them was a little bit too far out. You know, it wasn't.
You have a good thing. Why would you shake it up?
You know what? Everybody has a different way of approaching situations or looking at situations. What I've learned, and it's like it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, if you're happy with that, well, it's good. But I mean, at a certain point, everybody's got to do what makes them really happy.
And like you said, everything happens for a reason. You had to take that leap to open Scarlet.
Yeah.
Had that experience, Scarlet, right?
Yeah.
You had that experience of being a restaurateur in a sense.
Yeah.
To bring that whole different kind
for
of
sure.
element.
It gave me a lot of motivation. It gave me a lot of comfort. It gave me a lot of like security that I said, no, I got this. I could do this. I've seen enough now. Let me try. You know.
Yeah, definitely. And if we go back, so Gentile, it's deep rooted in family. It's a family-run business, obviously. So, you know, typically we always hear, don't do business with family.
Yeah.
But in your case, in your family's case, it's worked out quite well.
Listen, every company has issues. Mm-hmm. Every marriage has issues. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with business. Mm-hmm. You know, it's if we have good values, and we're blessed to have good values because we, you know, our parents, they gave us those values. It's like family. We, you know, blood is thicker than water, and you know, they instilled that in us, and I believe that helps. But is it easy? No, it's not easy. Is it? Do I know any other way? No, it was like instilled in us. You know, it was my grandfather with my father side by side, and then it was my father with myself, my mother, my brother, and then now it's, you know, my brother, my sister, and myself, and we do it. It's like we got to make it work. It's like we got to make it work, and there's good weeks and bad weeks, and you know, but when you're at your highs, it's nice to have it with your family, and when you're at your lows, it's comforting to have your family there too. So there's benefits to have that too.
So would you say, from your point of view, I mean, obviously you would agree that it is better to do it with family than not, but what are some of the ups and downs? Like, what are the, you know, what's the takeoff?
Like anything else, like some people will see this as no, I don't believe in that, and then somebody will see as yes, and then it's like, what's the compromise, and how much are you willing to make a stance for it, and how much you're willing to let go, and how much are you willing to, you know, deal with decisions on the daily and tasks, and there's so much.
How does decision making work? Because you're the youngest, right? And your older brother's are you the youngest?
Yeah, I'm the youngest.
And your older brother's 10 years older than you.
Correct. My sister's as well older than me as well. Yeah.
So like, do they just?
You know, we found something that works organically for us. It's like, you know what, we believe in you. We believe, you know, when I bring these projects to the table, it's like, you know, I sell it to them, and I don't really have to sell much because they genuinely believe in it too. So it's like, how are we going to do it? I'm like, you know, everyone used to ask me, okay, when you open up here, where are you going to be? You're going to be here. It's like, I don't know. Yeah. Because if you think about those things, you're not going to want to open. Yeah, for sure. You figure it out. Like you jump, it's like you jump off the parachute and then you'll figure it out. Yeah. And everything, most of the time, ends up working out.
Yeah. And currently the way it is, you know, you're at the DDO location?
Well, like headquarters, I would call headquarters the OG. You know, my bro is there with his family, my nephew, his wife. We have a great team there that we've been working together, that team, for many years. So it's like, it's a great team, and they're there. Then it was my sister and I that, you know, we were mostly in Westmount, and then we opened the pizzeria. So side by side, we were there working together. Now my sister's, you know, mostly there. And I bounced back from, Westmount to DDO, and I'm trying to be as present in the like day to day of wherever I need to be, you know? I love to come to see my brother once in a while, and it brings me back good memories to come on Chabanel because I spend a lot of time here, and I learned a lot here, and, These are the roots, this is where we're from.
Definitely. Like I said, like before we even started, I went to Gentile, the OG location, Chabanel, and it brought me back to, because I grew up here as well. I was mentioning as well. So I grew up here in the early 2000s. So it brought me back, like as if we were stuck in like that time period.
Yeah.
So I was asking him, I'm like, oh, okay, so you've kept it completely authentic. He's like, yeah, it's not planning on changing anytime soon.
Yeah.
But then DDO is a completely different vibe, but you still have that essence of
it was
old school kind of vibe.
For sure. Like the whole thing is, something is not broken, you don't fix it. So, this place has that nostalgia. And what the beautiful thing about Chabanel is there's, people that have been entering in there since, let's say, 59, it's early, but let's say the 60s or let's say the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Well, those people that were going as kids in the 70s, how old are they now? They have kids.
Yeah.
And it brings them back to a good place. So I used to come here with Nonno. I used to come get a granita, used to have a coffee. Mm-hmm. And it brings back memories and family time and nostalgia. And that's what, growth is. That's what having an institution, a landmark, like, I love going to Walensky's. My brother used to bring Walensky's once in a while when I was young at home. He used to try this, and then we would go there. Or, St. Vitor Bagel. Like, there's Schwartz. There's pockets of Montreal that, there is culture. There is multicultural city. We're a melting pot. The Italians and the Greeks. You go to Park X, and it's nice. It brings you back to nostalgia. So, that's the OG. And then we did Westmount. Yeah. And I think we designed purpose-wise. It was amazing. It's like 10 years ago. It looked amazing, and it still looks amazing today. And that's one of my most important aspects with design element. I'm very into that. I believe that if you use the right materials, lighting, you can make something look timeless. And I want Gentile to be a timeless brand.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I don't want to say, it's like you build a new restaurant, you invest X amount of money, and then in 7 years you're looking at it like, what the hell does this look like? Yeah. Like you can't go with a trend. So the materials you use were trending and cool in the 60s, and they're still trending and cool now. Yeah. Good materials. Yeah, you got to pay a lot much more now for the product. Yeah. But the stainless steel, the marble, granite, good wood, finishing wood. It's like details. Yeah. So in Westmount, we worked with an amazing designer, Zebulon Perron. And he was a Chabanel guy too, and really cool guy. And when we're doing this first project, in Westmount in 2016, I went to see him first, and I'm like, I have a spot. I really want to work with you for this project. And he's like, damn, for sure I'm going to work with you. I love Gentile. He goes to the OG. And when I brought him to the spot, we were there, and he's like, the most important thing we got to create here, Anthony, is like, we got to make it feel like it's been here for a long time.
Exactly, yeah.
Because that's the feeling. And even if you go to Westmount now, it's like, okay, man, this is like, it's legit, it's nice, it's cool. And then the pizzeria, we had a little bit more fun with it, more like retro 80s pizza diner parlor vibes. And then in DDO, we just took a little bit of all the elements, and you walk into DDO, the nostalgia of the old school coffee shop. Yeah. That's bringing back ties to Chabanel. Then you go into the dining room, and it's like, okay, big bar, green, thick, marble, rich, old money, Italian. Yeah. And then, beautiful seating, good elements. So it all ties in together.
You kind of answered my question that I was going to ask anyways, but I was going to say, going on 70 years, when you're expanding, how do you keep, how do you modernize a concept that's so nostalgic? But you kind of said it, you pay attention to the details, you keep the elements of the OG location in there. Yeah. How do you grow and keep, how do you make it modern by not losing the essence of it?
You know, it's funny. Somebody just gave me a little compliment, and I thought about it overnight. He actually told me yesterday. He's like, what I love about Gentile is that it's so cool, and it also feels like Nonna's house, all in one. And that, for me, it hit exactly what the brand has to represent. Like, why is it cool? I think it's cool because it's real. It's old. There's no bullshit. It's like, if you go to any of the locations, you'll see an owner that's there, present. We care. The food, even though the expansion, we're not cutting on the quality, on the experience. Is every time going to be perfect? No, but it's the inevitable. Like I tell you, it's like you're dealing with high volumes, a lot of people day to day, but we want it to be perfect, and that's half the bottle. And the team we've built in every location, they care too. They buy it into the system. The system is like, we're just as good as your last experience. We got to be good every day. We come out and like, what I like to tell people, restoration is like a theater. Yeah. We do the same thing working, but it's a different audience every day. And we gotta entertain them. If it's at night, it's a little bit more dark lights, you're dressed up, good music, good playlist, good music, first service, second service, the table is manicured, detail. At lunch, it's good vibes, lights are high, bus, like in and out, lunch, we got an hour to get you in, like it's lunch, people got an hour. You gotta get them in, eat, leave, and burn and turn.
Yeah.
So there's an art to that. We know how to do it. And that's the bottom line. I mean, I think the brand is amazing, and for me, I see it everywhere. Like there's no place that a Gentile won't make sense in my mind, you know. And is that just a little bit of me being a little biased, maybe? But I believe the brand is solid.
Do you believe that you need to have an owner on site at all times or at every location? Let's say if you were to expand somewhere else,
I personally believe it really adds a lot of value. It does. It does, because when you're invested, not only physically, monetarily, and you care, I believe it really helps. It really helps.
And definitely within the family as well. So they always have that.
Yeah, you have
same
to.
value.
Everybody's got to be accountable for the growth of the company, the how the day went, how the week went, projections, how we doing, can we do better, inspirations,
Definitely. And what makes a good coffee shop? Would you say, is it the coffee beans? Is it the machines? Because I see that all the Italian coffee spots, they have that La Mazzocca, that big machine.
You know what? Coffee is it's an art. There's so many variables of having what's a good coffee for you maybe is not a good coffee for me. And it's also a lot to do with taste and feeling, and the consistency of a coffee is the hardest thing to manage because you're dealing with temperatures. The beans, they come in. Now, those beans, where they're stored in the temperature, are going to affect what the extraction is. The temperature inside and outside of your coffee shop, if it's humid, if it's air conditioning is pushing, if the vent is right over your grinder, the guy making the coffee, does he love coffee? Does he love making coffees? That says a lot too. There's so many variables. At the end of the day, if you could have a consistent product that you're happy with, makes a good coffee shop, a good feeling, a good energy. Like you could go to a coffee shop and have like a 4-on-10 coffee. But when you walk in, it feels right. The barista's like, hey, good morning, how are you? And then he'll serve you well and you feel good. Well, that coffee just went from a 4-on-10 on an 8-on-10. But you could have the best coffee, but if the guy's giving you attitude and you're not getting good service and it took you 25 minutes to have a 2-sip espresso. So the coffee game is you got to be, the hardest thing, what I've noticed in the years, is to change somebody's tendency in the AM, in the morning. Everybody has their routine. You wake up, you're wired like, I'm going here. Why? Because I'm used to going there and that's my spot. So in order to get those new customers to say, no, you're my new spot, you got to hit on every angle.
It's almost as complex as a coffee itself, like running.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because even recently I've been trying to because I live in St. Jerome, so there's not really any good coffee joints. There's a lot of places with good vibes. And like you said, you might have a 4-on-10 coffee, but then you're like, okay, they were nice. So maybe that's why they're highly rated. But then the coffee itself, it doesn't hit like an Italian coffee joint for me.
No, I hear you. And like there's also with coffee, like there's the third wave coffees, a lot that's trending too. It's like I personally don't like it. It's cool, it's nice. I don't like the acidity, the sour notes. It's a little bit too much. Like I'm so used to the Italian, dark.
Exactly.
Gives you a nice kick, a nice jolt, and I need that in the morning.
For sure. And now everybody thinks so. Like I said, I think, okay, maybe I should open a coffee joint in St. Jerome or somewhere they don't have. It's not as easy as it looks. And you said there's highs, there's lows. What are some of the lows or the struggles that people don't expect when they're opening up a coffee shop?
I could go on for hours. I don't want to do this to like deflate people's dreams, because if you have a dream and you believe in yourself, I believe you could do anything. But there's so many variables. In Montreal, especially, is it going to rain? Is it snowing? Is there a blizzard? Is it minus 40 today? Are people going to come out? Is my employees going to show up? Is my machine, is the grinder going to work well? Are the blades changed? Why is it not extracting right? So many variables on a coffee shop. I mean, then forget the whole restoration side of it. But I'm saying, but again, if you do this because you genuinely love that industry and you genuinely love the hospitality, like there has to be something in you that you have something that you just want to make people happy.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. If there's like anyone that's in this crazy world of hospitality has this thing is like, we have the need to make people happy. But you got to do that every day,
Every single day,
all year round, and you got to turn a profit on it because it's that side and then there's the business side. And it's tough. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. But I mean, it's challenging.
And would you say a purely just coffee shop, no restaurant side could be profitable?
Yeah.
In the most, like,
I believe so. If it's done right. And, you got to look at demographics too. A high volume traffic area. People could walk in and walk out, like parking available, business. Yeah, I think so, for sure. I mean, coffee is, there's money to make in coffee, obviously, but you got to have a tight team or a light overhead. And you could do it for sure.
And with so many coffee shops opening up, there's hundreds, I want to say, in Montreal. How do you stand out?
Again, the brand, the value of the brand, the consistency of the brand, what we believe in, the authenticity. The coffee's good, man. The coffee's really good. It's, we put a lot of effort and time, and there's experience. There's people that we've hired that, just to overlook and the consistency and like, why is there an issue? Okay, we're going to get to it. Like, yeah, there could be an issue, but how fast are you going to solve that issue? That's, that's the game.
So would you say it's more important? Could you still have a successful coffee shop with mediocre coffee and a very strong brand? Or is it more the coffee itself that needs to be the best and an okay brand?
Good question. I think it's a hybrid of both.
Yeah, it has to be. I'd say this.
It's a hybrid of both, yeah.
And now, because I see now, like, there's, like we were discussing, you have to be on social media. You have to have some kind of presence.
Yeah, it works. It works. I tell you, it works. It's part of the day-to-day now. It's like you want to engage with your customer as much as you could. And it's pretty hard to engage with your customer in the setting. There's a lot happening. There's service. You got to flip the table. It's a stressful environment. But through social media, it's like you're engaging at the time that's convenient for you, wherever you are, and you can engage. Yeah. And I feel like it works. I feel like it really works. And but you gotta want to do it. It's part of my week to week now. And it's like you gotta do content, and you gotta find content that works and content that's engaging and
it's on brand for you as well.
For sure. Yeah. For me, it's brand recognition. It's like Gentile, and it's like you just always refreshing people's minds to say, yeah, they just opened a new one, or did you see the new special? Oh my God, we got to try that pizza. The place looks so good. It's like just tying all those elements in social media.
Definitely. And you recently said, if you were to tell your younger self, or what would you tell your younger self? You said, don't open a restaurant.
Yeah, I say that, and a part of me says, if you have if you genuinely believe and you love it, well, do it. But I say that it's a long time, man. It's many years. It takes a lot out of you. It's like the amount of how are you, good morning, yes, welcome back, and a lot of like taking the pressure from the customers. It's not, because you're gonna hear it too. You're gonna hear the good and you're gonna hear the bad, and how you deal with it, and what's your channel. How do you let that go, and how do you leave work and that stress outside the door when you have a wife and children? And there's so many elements. But listen, I guess that social media got the best of me that day, and maybe I don't know. I just believe in hard work. Never killed anyone. That's my father would tell me that all the time. Passion, you see it. You see people that are passionate in any industry, and there's always a reason for the success. If now services, I don't do many. I love doing them. I do them when I want to. But it took me a long time to get to operating not from inside, from exterior. That was the hardest thing. And I think it's one of the hardest things when you're growing your business is you can't do everything yourself. And if you're going to continue doing everything yourself, well, you're not going to grow. So you got to pick. It's either this is where I want to stay, this one restaurant, and I'm happy here, or I need to step back, overlook, build teams, build a culture, build a brand, and this is the way we do things now, and look from above. But it's hard to let go. I went through that transition period. There's so many transitions periods that I've been through just in the last 10 years. And then it's like you got to get through them, and then you figure it out.
Because at the end of the day, you said that, and many restaurateurs say, I wouldn't open a restaurant if I had known.
Yeah.
But I feel like you wouldn't have it any other way at the end of the day, right?
Right now, I don't know. I know. I mean, I would have always had regret. Yeah. And the hardest thing to live with is regret. And I would have always said, no, I think we could have done so much more with that brand.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I believe that we're doing the best that we could. And I believe it's reputable, it's great. And I still see it scaling. And that's what I want to do.
Definitely. And where do you see the future? Like in the next 5 to 10 years, what's the future looking like?
A couple more. A couple more. Where I'm still, avidly always speaking with people, looking at locations, spots, trying to feel it. There's gotta, what I've learned as well, you gotta always trust your gut. And I have a couple of gut feelings. I won't open them up now, sure. But for sure there's going to be growth.
And do you need to have the fourth generation ready to step up, or are you going to just tell them, guys, please step up?
That's a conversation to come.
Yeah.
They see the story from an internal view.
Yeah.
They see their great grandfather. They didn't meet him, but they heard.
Yeah.
They see their grandfather. They see their parents. They're in it. It's time. It's like it's either we take this, we learn, we grab it by the horns, we scale, or we manage these as best as we could and we're happy. It's like there's got to be that discussion, soon. And it's and nobody could. I don't believe the right way to go about it is like, no, you guys have to. It's like, what do you guys feel?
Yeah.
How are we going to do this? Want to do this? We don't want to do this. That's the conversation, how I would approach it.
But if you've done it right and you did, they're already in it. So, I mean, it's the logical thing to do would be to...
That's the logical thing. But not everything is logical these days, unfortunately.
Yeah. For sure. And would you think, looking back, your grandfather would have thought that it would have lasted this long?
I think of that very often. I never got to meet him. And I've only heard good things. And my father had a close attachment, and I'm sure he would be seriously proud.
Yeah.
I'm sure, to say like, hey, we took a big chance in those days. We did it. And then his son pushed along, and then his grandchildren. And it's something I think he would be very, very proud.
Definitely. And if you were not in this business, what would you be doing, you think? What else would you, if you, on your free time, what
I would be pursuing my dream in acting.
Really?
Yeah. I always say it. This is my last shot. This is my last shot. If somebody's gonna scout me.
Oh, nice! Wow, fun fact.
Yeah, fun fact.
Cool. And back to coffee shops. There was, there's more and more coffee shops and less bars. Do you think that the coffee culture is taking over bar culture?
I think so. I think I had said it too in one of my reels. Like, drinking is not a thing anymore. It's like the alcohol consumption has come down. People don't drink as much, the new generation. Bars are not really where you want to hang out. Coffee shops, people want to hang out. They feel it's fun. It's a better. Nobody's drunk. Nobody's acting stupid. It's like you're having a coffee. You could do business there. You could do personal. There's a lot of good elements in coffee shops. I believe that trend. I've seen it. Yeah, you see it.
Yeah. Okay. And so let's talk a little bit about DDO. How is it going so far? It's been open since December, I believe?
We opened November 20th.
Okay.
So it's about 5 months.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's truly, truly special. It's a great energy in the morning, at lunch, at dinners, brunches. We do private events already. We're opening up our terrace, which is a fun project. That's going to be the last little element of DDO. That's what I'm working on right now, building it out, which is going to be beautiful, and then doing a launch of something that I always wanted to do. We actually do it in Westmount in September. We call it in Westmount Settembrivo. It's basically, you know, the Italian culture. It's like they have this vibe in them of aperitivo. Aperitivo is like our 5 à 7, but them it's like a religion. You know, it's like aperitivo. It's 5 o'clock, 5 to 8 o'clock. You chill, you have a spritz, a couple of olives, nuts, and you just conversate with friends, with family. See, like it's something. It's a vibe, you know. And we want to create that in DDO on the patio all summer long. So we're going to be doing an activation in May, and that's something to look forward to. Yeah.
So it seems like it was basically everything that you thought it would be. This location.
I think so. Yeah. I really, I'm genuinely very proud, very happy. It's great. Every time I walk in there, it's like, damn, it's like nice. It's really nice, you know. Like it really looks good. It feels good. That's the bottom part.
What's something that surprised you when opening this? It could be good or bad. Maybe more.
I thought we had so much parking. It's like the parking lot's always full.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's like, really? Like, wow, okay, I didn't realize. But surprising. No, the love. We got a lot of love. And people are appreciative. It's nice to hear. Like, thank you so much.
Yeah.
You know, thank you so much for opening up here. Really, you know, it's like, it's nice. It's genuinely nice to hear.
Out of all the Gentiles, which one was your favorite? Is it the OG? Second? The most recent?
It's a hard question, because there's so much different feelings and attachments to each one.
Yeah.
The OG will always be the OG. I grew up there. I have pictures with my mom and dad in there on my little toy car. Like, while there were people, it was a full service happening, but I was there. It was a baby. It was fun. It was where dad worked. I loved going there. Good memories. And then I worked there as a teen, and I worked full time there from 99 to 2016, so 17 years. So the big attachment there. Westmount, it's my first baby. You know, that was when I got outside of the box, and it's like, wow. I was 34. I was 34 years old, and it was like, okay, I'm downtown. I'm in Westmount. It's brand new. Like, we're building this brand, so there's a big attachment there. Pizza Parlor's another huge attachment for me, is because that's a brand that I created personally. Like, I believed in pizza. I believed in a New York style pizza, and I believe that we could master it, and it's gonna coincide perfectly with our brand. So love that too. Great attachment. But DDO was, I tell everybody, is like, this is everything that I had left in the tank of a design and elements, and obviously a growth of community, because I grew up in the West Island. But yeah, they're all very special. They're all very, very special. But yeah, I can't pick one. Impossible.
No worries. And growing up in a fast-paced environment, you know, in a coffee shop or restaurant environment, it's tough growing up. But then now you're in it. You're, you know, long hours, fast action. So how is it raising a family as a restaurateur in a high-paced environment, high stress? How's that look like?
You got to pick the right partner. You got to pick the right partner. We're blessed. You know, we have a good family. My brother has a great support team. I have a great support team. Our wives, like, you marry a Gentile, you're marrying a family, into the family. It's like, this is what we do. There's long hours. It's high stress. But they're there, and they support us. You know, my mom supported my dad all those years. And it's what it is. It's like, you know, it's a family. It's all ties into work, relationship, hours, kids, family. And the older you get, the more you realize how important time management is. Time is everything.
Definitely. So you would you say you found that balance, or still working on it?
Still working on it, but better, much better. But yeah, you got to manage your time. And I think in any avenue you go, it's like, you could get anything else, but time will never get back. So the time when your kids are young and they need you, and you got to be present, and then your wife and your family and occasions, but the restaurant's always there. The restaurant's always in the center of it, and that's the way I think we did it. It's like the core was always the restaurant, and how are we gonna make this work and make this work and make this work, and you figure it out.
Cool. And I have a segment, since the show is called The Closing Time. I always ask, aside from COVID, because everybody says COVID,
Yeah.
what's a moment that you thought we're not going to make it, the business might not survive, or something along those lines?
Every night, 3 a.m.
Yeah.
when you're looking up and you're like, I got to do payroll.
Yeah.
I got to repair this. We got to give this guy a raise.
Yeah.
We got to make sure our costs are not going through the roof. It's tough. But that's the game, and it's fierce, and you gotta be an animal. You gotta be a savage. You gotta fight through it and say, this is what you wanted. You always gotta remind yourself, this is what you wanted.
Exactly. Yeah. And even now with like you touched on it on one of your reels too, like the reviews. It's like a big. I think there's even like these scams where people just give you bad reviews and then they come and be like.
Obviously, it's competition.
Yeah.
It's bad people. It's just shitty. It's like. We don't need that in our world. Like, it's already so tough. Yeah. Like, screw off.
I guess that's why you need to have a strong brand presence, so it counteracts the reviews. Because even though you might have potentially reviews that are bad, like your brand presence is still there. So the real people that are in your spot is
exactly. Yeah, that's another topic for those Google reviews. Yeah.
And on the inverse, what's your favorite, I want to say transaction that you close or favorite location, but you said that it's hard to pick.
Yeah.
But do you see yourself expanding into a different location? Do you want to give DDO some time to marinate?
For sure. You need a little bit of marination time.
Yeah.
I like that one. Yeah. You need to feel it. You can't look on projections or the way things are going to go after 3 months, 5 months. You're still a new kid on the block. It's a novelty. You got to give 1 year, 1 full year. Say, okay, now what's on the radar? Where are we going from here?
And if somebody came in as an outside investor who said, hey, I want to open up I see the success, I want to invest, I want to be part of the family.
Yeah, we'll sit at the table.
So that's something that's potentially
for sure
on the table. Like
we'll sit at the table. It's got to make sense for all the parties. And, we got to believe in, what's your idea? Where do you want to go with this? How big can we make this? There's got to be negotiations and what's the best for everybody.
In a successful coffee shop, is it more about the experience or the coffee?
I think it's
or people come to
70-30.
Yeah.
70% the product, 30% the experience, I think, or 60-40, but I believe it all ties in together. It's all one for me.
Yeah.
It's like the setting that you create is so important for the feeling that the customer will have. If we could give that setting aesthetically, hospitable, and give a good product, there's no reason why we should fail. That's the way I look at it. We have to hit on all aspects, though.
Yeah.
Every day, all day. I always look at it. I'm a big sports guy too, so I like to look at it like, if you're a baseball player and you have a 300 average, that means you have to execute 3 out of 10 times, and you're getting paid the big bucks. Yeah. If you're a restaurant and you execute 3 out of 10 times, you ain't making it past 3 months.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's like you got to be on, and the team has to be dialed in. People have to be held accountable. People have to care. And Gentile is, there's so much happening. You got the coffee shop program with the breakfast, and then you got the lunch, and then you got the dinner, and then you got the brunch, and you got the takeout. Takeout is a big part of our game too now. We have to do a lot of takeout through Uber Eats and through pickups and caterings. Our catering division, we have an amazing team that just does the catering. Like offsite caterings, delivering to office corporate caterings. We do that a lot, and we love doing them, and we've become very good at doing them. So that's another avenue that we really love to explore.
And how do you select the right staff? Is it a rigorous training program? Is it vibe?
You know what? I've big part of a lot of the hiring, and I tell you, it really goes with a lot of gut feeling and personal, and the interaction and who they are as a person and what they want. Even if they don't come with the best credentials, I just see it after a little training shift. I'm like, this kid's got it.
Yeah.
Just the way he walks, just the way he talks, just the way he it's like, you don't, and restoration has become it's a turn for the young generation while they're going to school. Yeah. It's like, I'm going to work at a restaurant.
Part-time job.
You know what I mean? A part-time job.
Yeah.
So the turnover is like crazy, insane. But it's really nice to see the growth of somebody that's come with the company at 17 and like find something in their field at 22 of who they were and where they are. And it's like some people, they come and see me after X amount of years, and I used to work for you, and I'm like, what are you doing now? I'm a lawyer. And I'm like, oh, I knew it. Like I just knew it. You see it. So it's fun. It's a great environment to learn as a youngster in the restaurant. If you could work in a restaurant in a high-paced environment and do really good at it, you have a good angle that you're going to do pretty well in your life.
Yeah. And if we quick question on the pizza, why New York pizza and not Italian pizza?
So, like when in Montreal, this is a good topic because in Montreal, the pizza game. So the pizza game in Montreal was run by mostly the Greeks back in the day with their like casse-croûte, and they used to have their pizza, and it was like Montreal style pizza, you want to call it, like that heavy, the pepperoni, the green peppers, like you eat a pizza, 2 slices, you're like, oh. Well, the reason you're dying is because the dough was made in the morning and they're serving it to you at night, and it's like, it's heavy. The gluten is there. So it's not, there's no fermentation, there's no. And then Neapolitan pizza started to become really trendy in Montreal. The Neapolitan style pizza, I would say in early 2000s, used to be like the original pizzeria would be Napolitana. Then the Bottega Boys started. They were like the first brand ambassadors of Neapolitan pizza in Montreal, and they do a fantastic job at it. And it's just the style preference of pizza. I grew up going to New Jersey very often because my mom's side of the family all was from New Jersey. My grandparents, my aunts, my uncles. And New York, New Jersey, they have their style pizza, the big pizza, 16-inch, 18-inch, crispy, thin. I had an obsession with it. I loved it. And it was hard to find here. And who used to do it, back in the day really well was Adamo in St. Henry, Adamo Pizzeria. He had an amazing New York style pizza. And I was like, man, I really believe in this concept. I believe in New York style pizza, So, in 2019, we started this project. And, I did a lot of research, found the right pizzaiolo, like the guy, like a chemist, a pizza, like mental case of like dough fermentation, processing, proofing. And I got into that and I loved it. And, did a lot of research. And then, now you see so many, it's all over the place. But I was in the game, 2019, it's already 7 years, 7 years. And I believe the product is amazing. And I like it. I love that brand, and I want to grow that brand.
Yeah, very innovative. Because you were basically one of the early.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Just like your mom made the first chicken cutlet sandwich, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's we were one of the in Montreal for sure for the chicken cutlet sandwich. She used to fry them every morning because we didn't have our kitchen ready here set up in I would say in 2000, maybe 97, 98, till they did the remodel of the kitchen there. But every morning. Be frying those chickens, like you smell it, and then we just transported them to the restaurant, and then it was a lot of chicken. I ate a lot of chicken cutlets.
Perfect. Well, beautiful journey, beautiful story.
Yes.
As we wrap up.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for your time, sir.
I wish you all the best growth in the real estate.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
You as well. Many more locations.
Yes, sir.
And we'll stay in touch.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Be well.